everyone, and welcome to the Innovator Insight Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk to successful product entrepreneurs about how they came up with the initial idea and turn it into an impactful business, a successful product. And today we're super excited to have Griff Jaggard with us. He's the co-founder and CEO of FireDisc. They make self-patented portable outdoor cooking systems, things you make food on. And they have retail distribution all across the US, and they sell online and have built a very successful business. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Griff.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. This will be fun.
Yeah, we're excited to learn more about it. I'm a big fan of smoking meat and cooking myself. I often tell my family it's my love language. It's a way to engage with something and have a positive outcome that everybody can enjoy. So a huge fan of what you guys are doing.
Thank
But
you.
before we get into FireDisc, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are in the world, and family, pets, dogs. What do you do when you're not working on FireDisc?
All the above. Yeah. So we're here down in Katy, Texas, which is just for y'all that don't know where Katy is. It's just outside of Houston. We've had a few different offices in Houston, outside of Houston, and I live in Katy. And so we decided to kind of pull it out here. A lot of our employees lived in Houston, and then we have several in Katy. My brother, lived in Katy, and so this is why we chose this area for sure. And the other thing that kind of worked out is we're right near the Houston port. So when we ship stuff in overseas, it's easy to tackle, easy to maintain, easy to see where it is for sure. I've got two kids. Son and a daughter. I've got a yellow lab, sweet little white, I call her a white polar bear lab, and I am married to my beautiful wife, Jessica.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, congrats on all the success, family and business wise. So you mentioned your brother. So you are the two co-founders of the business. Is that right?
We are the two co-founders. Yeah, we started it together.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how it came about? How did you guys get the idea of
Sure.
doing
So,
this?
as a gift, my brother's father-in-law gave him basically, it was like a makeshift plow disc. And people have been cooking on plow discs for years. And, in Spain and Mexico, they call them discadas, etc. And you basically take it, put it on the coals, and it would heat it up. You put food on there, fajitas, all kinds of dishes for sure. So he gave him one, and it didn't have a heat source. And we looked at that. We brought it on buddies' weekend trips before we had kids, and so we go hang out by the fire, cook on, and everybody's like, "Gosh, this thing is awesome. Where'd you get it?" And Hunter and I looked at each other.
Can I ask you a
Hunter's my
question? So
brother.
you say this is basically a cast iron plate or something like
It's
that, right?
carbon steel.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
carbon
sorry.
steel. It was 22 inches in diameter, and so it was good size. It was heavy, and we were throwing burgers in there, hot dogs, eggs in the morning. I mean, anything you could dream up, we were cooking in there. And
Yeah.
all my buddies were like, "This is awesome! Like, where can I get one?" And Hunter and I were like, "You know what? We may have something here." So
Yeah.
one napkin drawing to another, we came up with the FireDisc, and it's been several different versions since that day for sure as we continue to improve. But we started out here in Houston, going to machine shops, getting it made, knocking down different retailers, Buc-ee's being our first, and before they were massive, and we finally got it to a point where we could engineer it properly and go at it overseas, which is where we make it now for sure. But that was the journey, and then we said, you've got to have a spatula, you've got to have a way to clean it, you've got to have, other utensils and tongs to cook on it, and what we really dove into, and we realized before we really went to mass production, is that we didn't want to go after the backyard, we wanted to go after the portability market, and we still do today. And as we go forward, and you'll see our products, we got more coming out, and we've got more Buc-ee's. We're about to have a new product in Buc-ee's here, probably second quarter of this year, which will be super portable that nobody's seen yet. So that is kind of our MO, is a portable propane cooker. Yeah, when you think of FireDisc,
awesome.
you think of portable propane cooker. Built to haul, cooks it all.
That's awesome. I mean, particularly thinking about some of our audience and listening, I think what you succinctly described there was, not the backyard, but the portable cooking experience. That I think that's a beautiful and important insight, right? Around understanding who's your target customer and designing products that same customer will use over and over again. Can you
Exactly.
talk a little bit more about that? Because I think it's obvious to you, but to many listeners, it may or may not be.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. I mean, you've really got to know who your customer is, and when you look at your TAM or your total addressable market, I mean, the outdoor market, including the backyard, I mean, you're looking at 12 plus billion. I mean, that's a massive market, and you really got to hone in. What percentage can I tap out of that market? The
Yeah.
backyard space is crowded. It is with Traeger, Weber, Charbroil, Rectech now, and it's
Yeah.
just it's very crowded. So we said let's pick a niche and go after the portability. And we
Hmm.
built it like a tank. We built it like a YETI cooler, and you
Hmm.
can't break it. Our return rate is less than 1%.
Oh
So
wow,
when you buy
that's
a
great.
fire disc, it's going to outlive all of us for sure. But we wanted it that way because when you're traveling, it does get beat up sometimes. And you don't want it to break.
Yeah.
We actually
Yeah.
shot it with a 357 Magnum and the bottom of the disc, and it didn't go through. I mean, it's thick, 11 gauge carbon steel, so it's
Yeah.
very very tough. And another thing I'll get into is it does season like a cast iron skillet. Same
Oh,
principle,
okay.
same properties. And once you season that
Yeah.
thing, it is so easy to clean. It beads off like a duck's back.
Hmm.
But back to my point, yeah, we really hone in on the RV, the hunter, the fisher, the camper. A lot of people go to NASCAR events who are RVers. We go after them.
Hmm.
Jeep enthusiasts. I mentioned overland. I mean that is our target market when we go after people
Yeah.
that are on the move.
Yeah. So it's a cooking plate, and then you said it's propane fueled. I think I've
It
seen
is.
some
We're
videos where
we're the
you're on
largest
coals.
cooker to work on the small green propane tank. And we design it that way again, as you can similar guess, is because of the portability. It works on the small green
Yeah.
propane, so you can take it with you. And we do have the adapters to go to the big 20-pound tank, but we just find people use the smaller green because it'll last almost 2 hours on that. So that's
Yeah.
plenty of fuel to cook. Whether you're tailgating, hunting, fishing, camping, whatever it may be.
Yeah. And I think I saw a video where somebody put it on top of coals, or is that not
Mm-hmm.
a way you can use it, or can you use it that
You
way
you
too?
can do it for sure. It's just with gas underneath the bowl, it's easier to control the heat.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. And for those who don't know how to season a cast iron skillet, it's pretty straightforward, right? You just oil it and heat it
Oil it and
and
heat
clean
it
it.
and clean it. That's the simple answer. The more complicated answer is the type of oil. Our grills, cookers get very hot, so you want to use an oil that has a high smoke point. I recommend avocado oil. It's amazing, very
Yeah.
hot, high smoke point, and I mean it's very very hard to burn it for sure. Bacon
Hmm.
is great, but it has a low smoke point. So if you're going to put in bacon in there, you want to keep it on low. Put it on high, it'll
Yeah.
probably burn. So I tell everybody if you're cooking, just cook with avocado oil. And the good thing about avocado oil, you can find it anywhere now. I mean, any grocery
Hmm.
store, any Walmart, all over the country. Very, very easy to find.
Yeah.
And as far as cast iron, you cook on there, throw vegetables in there, meat. I mean, it just gets better with time. And then to clean it,
Yeah.
I always tell people if you're going to clean this thing, just leave it on warm and clean it right away. Don't let it get cold and then clean it. It's much easier to clean it while it's
Yeah.
warm. Wipe it off. It'll take 2 seconds with paper towels. If you have anything that's stuck there, I tell people just get a little aluminum foil, wipe it down, you're good to go. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. So when you
Sure.
guys started it, you didn't have a background in consumer products or retail. I think you were
I did
in real
not.
estate. Yeah.
I
And your
was in real
brother?
estate. Yes, I
Yeah.
kind of just threw myself into the fire, me and Hunter, into the
Yeah.
consumer products market. And I don't recommend that because that's when you make a lot of mistakes. and we did
Yeah.
for sure. But I felt after the first 2 years, I had a master's degree in consumer products, as you learn
Yeah.
very, very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So those first 2 years, a lot of experimentation. Did you make the prototypes then in the US first and develop sort of the idea, and then later
We
on
did.
started
We built them
ordering?
all here in the U.S. and we we built them here, designed them here, the whole shebang right off in the beginning.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, and then, what was the first, like, how did sales look like in the beginning? How long did it take before you had a product? And I think you said Buc-ee's was one of your first outlets that you sold
Buc-ee's
from.
was
What was
definitely our
that
first.
journey?
Yeah, back that was our first. They only had 3 mega stores back then when we first started this. Now they have 40 and growing like crazy every year. But that was huge to us. I mean, you look back now, it's small, but in the beginning, that was a home run. I mean, to get in
Yeah,
with the Buc-ee's that get so many people through their doors, it was super exciting.
yeah. So did sales just take off overnight then, or how did that, how
No,
long?
no, not really. I wish that was the case, but you really had to, you know, the when we started this, it was an idea back in 10, and we really went full time on it in 2016. So we took a lot of time developing the product and, kind of how we wanted to approach this, as I mentioned earlier on the portable side of things. Um, but yeah, we got Buc-ee's, got that going, and then the e-commerce market with Amazon was just rapidly changing so fast. So it took us a while to
Yeah,
really learn how to sell a product online. Through our website. Where do you advertise? And then Facebook was just coming around and getting big, where they were really, taking your money and advertising, and then, Google, and then how do you sell on Amazon? And
yeah,
everybody kind of understands all of that now, but that wasn't the case when we first started back in 2016, 17.
yeah, yeah. A lot has changed in the last decade. So you started, yeah. So that took a while. And then you said, how long did it take before you started launching additional products? And eventually, you mentioned a bunch of different accessories. How did that evolve over time?
I mean, when we first got into Buc-ee's, we knew we needed to have some accessories because you always want to look at your attachment rate. How many accessories do I sell per cooker? And so at that point, we started selling a lot of accessories. We said, okay, let's try to implement another product. And
Yeah,
so that's when we came out with the smaller FireDisc, and from that point on. But that all happened within probably a year and a half of getting into Buc-ee's. And once we got into Buc-ee's, we attacked Ace Hardware, True Value, several independent fishing stores
yeah,
from that standpoint. And then we really wanted to put a lot of focus online as well. When I say online, I mean Amazon and then our own website, direct to consumer.
yeah, yeah. And is it majority online or majority retail today?
Right now, majority of our sales are online, and it's been that way over the last probably 4 years.
That's great.
And
Yeah,
we kind of made that transition. Really tried to do it prior to COVID, and we were kind of in the transition phase with COVID on that. But yeah, that's just kind of been our go-to because we feel we can communicate better with the customer that way
yeah,
when they buy direct from you, because it's very hard to control your product in certain retailers. Some are great,
yeah,
some are tough. Everybody knows that. But we just felt that's kind of the route we wanted to go. And that, you have to adapt as you go along. And, we've adapted many times, and that may totally change based on
yeah,
what the industry shows, with tariffs and all other fun things going on. So you kind of got to always be willing to adapt, and we have. But right now we're really focused on select retailers and direct to consumer.
yeah. Yeah, because even if you sell online to Amazon, you don't really own the customer, right? So it's much more
You don't know
valuable.
Amazon owns the customer.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful. And how big is the company now, people-wise?
We've got we always range between 5 and 10 employees. We do a lot of outsourcing
Yeah,
um, on different sales reps, marketing companies, and we always say we do what we do best, and we outsource the rest.
yeah, yeah. It's good to stay lean too, right? If
It
when
is.
there
It's
are
important to stay
fluctuations.
lean with rising costs.
Yeah. So how's the tariff impacted you? Not to get political here, but cost
Yeah,
went
no,
up.
I mean it's just it's is what it is, and I don't like it. It unfortunately it does hurt small businesses, and I always tell people. I think sadly, I think 90% of people think that's paid by China. It's not. I mean those tariffs are paid by American companies, American manufacturers.
Yeah.
When it comes into the port, and we can't get our product until those are paid, and it's cost us a fortune.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we did have to raise our prices. Like I'm sure you've talked to many other people had to do the same. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it does get passed on to the customer.
Yeah.
So we, as a small business, have to stay afloat and raise our prices. And unfortunately, it's caused volume to go down because as prices go up, you know,
Yeah.
volume goes down, and that's
Yeah.
not something we want at all. I mean, we were perfectly content on and loved the price we were getting it at, and now it's we're being taxed on higher, and I don't like it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And no, I don't care to get political, but it is something that people need to understand that this is paid by America,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate. And I do hope things change, and I hope they simplify the rules and make them more targeted if they can. But unfortunately, those are things like in any industry that are out of our control. So we just got to, like I mentioned earlier, we've got to find a way to adapt and move forward, and we will, and we are.
Yeah.
But anytime you're an entrepreneur, there's always a bump in the road, whether it's tariffs or shipping costs. There's always something you have to deal with.
Yeah. And almost like an entrepreneur myself, right? If you at least had stability and certainty, right, then you can adapt to it, and you can figure out a way, or you can make
You can.
long-term plans. You can move sourcing from China to India or to
Right.
somewhere else, right? But if things changes, every 6 months, it takes a year at least to diversify your supply chain, right? So
Oh yeah. I
we
never
see a
thought,
lot.
like, the last 2 years we're talking about budgets. You always do year-end budgets for the upcoming year, and with rising tariffs and the uncertainty, your budget's kind of out the window. It's like, okay, I can budget for this, but what if these go up? What if shipping costs go up? Steel costs, whatever it may be, and those you account for. But the last 2 years of the tariffs is not something we've accounted for,
Yeah,
unfortunately. So a lot of times you just got to shuck and jive and adapt.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, hopefully it'll settle down here. But I don't
I think
know.
it will. I think it will, really. Mhm.
We will see. Awesome. So you mentioned Yeti earlier. Is that a brand that you guys have kind of emulated? It feels like you're targeting a similar, high-end outdoorsy
Yeah,
audience.
we've tried to implement that, and in our early days, Roy and Ryan Cedars, who started Yeti, were very, very helpful to Hunter and I
Oh, great.
on kind of giving us direction and how to build our brand and the customer, and from that standpoint. And I mean, it was great. I can't thank them enough. They were very, very helpful when they didn't have to be, and it was great. They were really, really good people and great brothers, which Hunter and I can relate to,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
which was fun. So yes, and it's a little bit different customer, but at the end of the day, it's also very similar. But yes, that's to answer your question. That's really kind of what we went after. We wanted a higher end product. We didn't want $100 cooker. Like it was
yeah,
going to be more expensive, but what you get what you paid for because it's going to last a lifetime.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And for those of you who are just listening and not seeing the video, Griff have behind him the company creed: "Gather round, gather around."
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit more about the brand? And I mean, I hear you have a lot of sort of saying that feels like it's ingrained in the company DNA. Can you chat a little bit about that? How you?
Yeah, we always wanted a good culture. That was important to Hunter and I when we started the company. And this is behind me is company creed that we shared with our employees that Hunter and I came up with, probably over a few beers one night. But sometimes some of the best ideas come from that. But anyways, yeah. So we was doing a really good culture, and as you grow a company or you're in real estate or whatever industry you're in, you have ups and downs, and you have people that you love working with, you have people you don't love working with, and we always wanted a tight knit group, And
Yeah.
so we did everything in our power that we could to try to get that tight-knit group of employees within our company that enjoyed coming to work and were happy to come in. And we try to involve their family outside of work and inside work. And it's just, to me, it's all about just the clarity that you share with your employees and the brand, and then the direction you're going with the brand as you grow every year.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. What about the customer side? You mentioned that earlier, how important it is with customer relationships and how I think, how do you gather customer feedback, or, do you have some kind of customer advisory board, or how do you engage with them, and how do you learn from them?
I mean, there's tons of new ways now versus when we started. Now most websites have chat. Most new websites have AI chat now. And so when we started, we initially created a group on Facebook, and it's still there today, and it's awesome. It's about as organic as it gets. It's we don't control it, the customer controls it, but it's a group. And they share organic photos of them cooking, recipes they're cooking, where they're cooking. And, when we first started, they would ask questions of, the product and how does this work, et cetera. Now, each customer answers the questions for us. We don't have to be a customer service company on that group anymore, because there's so many users out there that already have FireDisc, and they say, oh, I tried this, or try this way of seasoning it, or hey, I just cooked some chili with this recipe. And or hey, the paint chipped off the bottom here. What do I do? Is that aesthetic? Is that normal? And some people have little paint pens. They'll dig it up, but we all know the bottom of the cooker. Well, I'm on that. The heat is so great, it's going to turn black. And so, but when you first buy it, you're like, oh my God, it turned black. But that happens, and the customer says, oh no, that's perfectly normal. It doesn't affect the cooking whatsoever. As one example. The other example is we do tons of reviews. Every time you buy one, we give people, I think, $25 if they submit a review as a gift card to come back on and submit a review. And then I think you get more. I have to look. You get another almost 35 or 40 if you share it. And so that just helps spread the word, and then keep customers happy. Was what we want. And if I said every customer's happy, I'd be lying, because there's some that you just aren't going to be happy. But I think for the majority, we try to do the best we can to answer questions and get people what they want.
Yeah, that's super interesting. It was a fellow, Henrik, actually, a Swedish entrepreneur, started a company called BarkBox. He wrote a book about customer relationships, and he talked about that. You created a community when people are there with or without you, right? When they're talking to each other, when you don't have to be present, then you've actually created something that, it's a status thing for them almost. It's a belonging thing. They're part of something that they wouldn't have without your product. So that's pretty special.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, congrats on building that. So what's ahead? We're sitting here almost end of February 2026. What are you excited about the rest of this year? What are you looking forward to?
This year we've got a new product going into Buc-ee's that I can't disclose yet, but it's going to be awesome. It'll be in there, in the second quarter. Super pumped about that. Again, it'll be a very, very portable unit on that front. It'll also be available on our website. We've got some new accessories that we're coming out here in the future, and we got some other retailers that we're potentially going to work with, some bigger boxes, which we haven't in the past. And then we're still going to really hone in on our customer through our own website, and we'll still be selling on Amazon as well. But for the future, you're going to see a lot more interaction from our ambassadors. We have tons of ambassadors on TikTok and Instagram. We have a lot more, hopefully, events coming up here that we're going to hone in on, and more recipes that we do. We try to do a recipe of the week that we send out, through our email service. And if you're not in our emails, please do get on there. You can sign up on our website. Right on there. I think there's a pop-up that comes on. You can put it on there, and we don't spam you. Don't worry. But if you like good recipes on the unique cooker, we can do it. And we do offer lots of specials every week too.
Yeah. And that's just so everybody knows that the website URL is
It's FireDiscCookers.com. And then I mentioned the group earlier on Facebook. You can just type in Fire Disc Owners Group on Facebook, and it'll take you there. You just click join, and then we do have, of course, a Facebook page, not to be confused with the group. But as easy for the website, just go to Google and type in FireDisc, and it'll pop right up for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got one of those, Kamado Joe ceramic grills.
Yeah.
And I cook, that's super frequently, but every couple of weeks. And it's a 6 to 10 hour, 12-hour cook, depending on, if you make brisket, ribs, or whatever it is. And I love those. One, I deeply enjoy it. And two, it's, even if I've done it a ton of times, I always kind of pull up the recipe or look at some other recipe, get more ideas to try to create some variation of it, see if you can do it better somehow. So I do believe that there's a lot of engagement in that, and there's a lot of joy in, I know that the result is joy to far beyond to the person that bought the grill.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an avid cooker, you got to bring the passion. I love it. I mean, I have a Traeger, and I love cooking on it. I love my Traeger. I love smoking on it. We always say that those are not competing products to the FireDisc. Those are complementary products. I mean, if you're smoking a brisket, smoking ribs, you're going to go to your Traeger or your Komodo, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
If you're on the go and you want to cook fast and you want to cook, unique foods for the customer, fajitas, burgers, something quick, you go to the FireDisc. I mean, it's just very, very complimentary. You got to have both.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're coming toward the end here. Before we quit, any word of advice to our listeners? We have a lot of folks that are, either in the midst of making their first product, or they just launched the first product, and most of them relatively early in their journey. What, after everything you've gone through?
Yeah, the best advice to get you is, don't go at it alone. It's very hard. You gotta have a partner. It's very hard to do things alone. And second of all, it's not going to be easy, and I'm sure any entrepreneur has been told that, but just don't quit, because if you quit, you're done. And just remember, tomorrow is a new day.
Yeah.
And tough times don't last. Tough people do. I heard that from my father.
Yeah. Well, I love this.
It's a fun journey.
Yeah, I love what you said first. It's like, don't go at it alone, because I've found that too. It's a lonely place, being a founder sometimes, and
it is. I could have never done it without my brother and my other partners that I have involved, and our employees and our customers. It's just hard, very hard.
And inevitably, there's got to be obstacles. And I haven't talked to a single entrepreneur that there wasn't one time in the history of the company where they thought, we're not going to make it, right? Where you don't know how you're going to make payroll, or you don't know how you're going to salvage whatever situation you're in, and in those times, it really helps to have someone else, that you can huddle with, and awesome. Well, Griff, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Congrats on building a great company and great product that brings joys to hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And best of luck in 2026 and beyond.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me. This has been very, very great. And happy to do it. Happy to give advice where I can, and just really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks, Griff.